it was kind of shocking because, after the video, kind of everything just went blank on the computer. Like, to the point that it was like, I wanted to reach out to my new managers and figure out, like, wait, like, did I just hear this right? Did I just, and it was all just completely gone.
Welcome to the YouTube channel. Today we are spotlighting the one and only, the coolest, Kevin Reilly. We're going to get into it, talk about his story. Kevin, I'm so excited to have you. Thanks. I reached out to Kevin on LinkedIn, and as I'm reaching out to most of the Better employees, former Better employees, I was one myself. Yay. Kevin was also one in one of my recent training classes. I remembered him. I saw him on LinkedIn, and I wanted to just kind of allow all of you to hear his story, to hear his experience and what's been going on. So with that, Kevin, can you tell us about yourself? Where are you from? What are you doing? Give us the whole story. Like, what have you been doing?
It's my name's Kevin Reilly. Live in White Lake, Michigan. Just recently, well, I say recently, about 3 years ago, kind of was able to dive into the whole mortgage industry at UWM, and kind of fell in love with the whole process. With kind of reaching out, and if it's, kind of giving someone that dream house and kind of help that underwriting process go. And as someone with a kind of an actuarial science math background, doing the whole, self-employment, different employment types, that whole analytical thing kind of fell right into place. And then kind of the communication that comes with it, where, you're reaching out to brokers across the country, anything along those lines, kind of having that background and being able to explain the rationale behind everything, that kind of fell kind of right into my wheelhouse.
Okay. Okay. Hang on. Pause. That's amazing. So actuary science. Okay. For those who don't know what that is, that might be watching this, give me just a little bit. What is actuarial science? I've heard of it. All I remember is it being like super hard and like really difficult, and hardly anybody can do it. So like, tell me a little bit about that.
Yeah, so basically it's kind of like a statistics type major.
Okay.
So you normally see a lot of them in kind of retirement type jobs, insurance, where they kind of help project if it's expenses for, companies with pension plans. If it's, if you see the mortality tables that, kind of go with life insurance, all those take into account in actuaries, which that's kind of the degree I went into initially. That we deal with all that stuff behind the scenes. So when you go and you're like, hey, I need to go, to, whatever insurance company you want to go to, you're like, hey, I want to get an insurance policy out, and you go, and that's what they're looking at. They're looking at, basically an actuary will go in there and kind of do the deep dive into, your age, the health, take all that into account and kind of give you, your ideal price, situation, everything just for you. So
okay. So if I'm hearing this right, so you got a lot of tools in that tool belt there. And so if I'm hearing you right, actuarial science, you're basically taking like compensated risk factors, which would kind of parallel to mortgage, analyzing all this risk, spitting out a formula of this is what it would be, and this would be the price based on the risk factors that are there. Very similarly to like a mortgage, where you look at all the compensating factors, risk layers, and go, yeah, we can approve this, and we definitely want to get you a house, or hey, we need to work on this first before we can do that. Is that somewhat right?
Yep, exactly. Nope, that's spot on. So, it kind of, it was kind of a nice transition going into a mortgage, because it was like kind of having that extensive math background, and then going into, doing files, if it's as straightforward as a W-2, to, someone having 5, 6, 7 self-employed businesses, and you need to kind of take all into account. That kind of gelled with kind of what I was doing, and it was kind of rolling with the punches on that one. So it was kind of a nice, easy transition into that, and then it was kind of nice to kind of put kind of that background information, where if you need to, depending on the lender, if you need to reach out and talk to brokers or whatnot, kind of can talk through the rationale, instead of, in an actuary, you just kind of, there are kind of numbers on the screen, and you don't really kind of understand, the background of these people and how this would, tremendously affect their lives like mortgages do. So it was just a nice transition where you can kind of put both of those two things together, and it was kind of, I don't know, I want to say love at first sight, but it was kind of a great, change of pace for me moving from one to the other.
Oh my gosh, that's awesome. Okay, hang on, I have to ask about this too, and um, we'll get to the better layoff because I know that's what everybody wants to hear about. They want to hear about the better layoff and the feelings, and we're going to jump into that in just a minute. But when I was doing some digging on LinkedIn, I saw something about an internship with a state senator. Like, what's all that about? I'd love to hear about that.
Yeah, so that was my last year because I went to Central Michigan University. My last semester up there, I didn't have a whole lot left needed to kind of complete, the amount of credits I needed. So it was a time where I kind of had a couple days during the week where there wasn't, instead of just sitting in your dorm room, watching it, Netflix, watching, whatever the hottest show was at the time. I'm like, man, like I want to go do something, like something that like I could fill these couple days with. So I kind of reached out to a couple departments, and I came across this, I think it was the poli sci department. And I came across them, and I was like, hey, like I'm kind of looking for something to do, just kind of fill these two times. They were like, hey, we have this transit thing that it's all free. All, you can, basically we take kind of a shuttle down to Lansing,
Okay.
and you can spend the day down there, do your thing. And then at X, I think it was like 4 o'clock or something, it'll come pick you up and bring you back up here. No extra charge, nothing. So I was like, hey, I've never done anything like that. Let's go for it. So I just went, I kind of started reaching out to kind of, a couple of people from the area I grew up in, which was Port Huron. So I was like, okay, let me reach out to, a state rep or state senator, reach out to, just because it's the area I grew up in. It was like, let's see if I can get in somewhere over there. And reached out to the state senator at the time, which was Phil Pavlov. And I kind of explained what was going on. I had a couple days, and he was like, let's do it. He's like, you can come over here, and
What?
you can kind of, do an internship. So I think it was twice a week. I just kind of rode down to Lansing, kind of worked in the office. And then I think that kind of plays into the whole communication thing that I mentioned
Mm.
earlier, where if you called his office, you were talking to me. So I was the one that if someone called and had like, oh man, I don't like what he was doing on this, you got me. And it was like, it was kind of a cool scenario where I could kind of improve my communication skills, but also I knew the area. Like I grew up there. Like if
Mm.
someone's like, oh, hey, I'm from, Port Huron, I'm from Fort Gratiot, I'm from, Port Austin. Like it's like I know that area. Like, oh yeah, like what's going on, and kind of explain what was going on, and
Wow.
I would kind of then take messages and kind of convey, what the caller was trying to say to the senator. So I mean, it was a fantastic experience, and they kind of really helped me branch out my communication skills.
Man, that is awesome. You're killing it. Okay. Let's get into dun 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 the better layoff. So when did you start it better, Kevin?
I started mid-October.
Okay.
So I was there mid-October. Then I went through obviously training with you. And then I was kind of on the floor for, I'd say, maybe a month, 3 weeks. And then the layoff hit. So that's kind of the timeline for that one.
And how did you like where were you at with the layoff? Like, did you get the calendar invite? What did that look like? And just briefly, kind of, if you want to give me a quick synopsis on that, how you felt about it, and then I want to jump back into underwriting.
Yeah, yeah. So I remember where, I saw the invite come across, and I remember the subject title of it. And it was like attention. It was like all caps, and I was like, like that's kind of weird. And especially for, I think it was, the day of the week it was. I was kind of like, I wonder what this is. Like normally, like if they're coming out with a change of policy or something, there was an email, and I was like, I don't know what this is. So saw the email. It was really close to that time already, so I just jumped right on. Um, And then it was kind of from, just kind of him sitting there with no sound or anything. I started to kind of get this vibe of, okay, like, I don't know what's going on, but before he's even talking, I'm getting a kind of a bad vibe with what's about to happen here, and then kind of hearing him kind of go through what basically laying us all off, and um, it was one of those things where it was the first time I've ever been laid off, and
Mm.
it was it was it was kind of shocking because after the video, kind of everything just went blank on the computer, like to the point that it was like I wanted to reach out to my new managers and figure out, like, wait, like, did I just hear this right? Did I just
Mm.
and it was all just completely gone. Like, it didn't even it even took which I love my managers. They were all, both of them were fantastic. They did, I could kind of tell, like, they knew their stuff, and they were very personable, but even for them, they were shocked when I talked to them later. They had no idea that this was even coming. They apparently got out of the meeting, and everyone on the team was offline. Everyone was gone, and they didn't even know what was going on. And then once I kind of talked to them, they were, very, you know, blindsided by this entire thing, and as everyone was. But um, then kind of the process went through. Okay, now what? Like, as someone that's, I literally just bought a new house, and it's like, okay, now I have to, figure out what's now the next step I need to take here. So that first day it was kind of realizing what happened. Then second day it was, okay, let's hit the ground and let's try and go on to see what else is out there.
Yeah, absolutely. Wow. Wow. Well, I feel you. Been there myself about a week ago. And yeah, definitely not cool. Not the most fun thing ever. We'll put it that way. What I want to do now is really kind of dive into underwriting. Let's pick back up lemonade out of lemons. Um, being go-givers. And so in this spotlight series, really trying to highlight some fantastic people that I trained and that I knew it better. Kevin is one of them. And so let's dive into underwriting. What do you like about underwriting, Kevin? Like overall, like what, if you could pick like the one magic thing that you're like, oh, this is amazing. I really enjoy this.
I think it kind of plays with kind of the math background we talked about earlier,
Yeah.
where I kind of look at each file as like kind of a math problem type. It's like, okay, I need to figure out this 1120s, 11, all this different types of income that you could be jumping into. You have no idea when you first get into a file. It's kind of that that challenge portion of it. It's like, okay, what do I need to get into? And then if it's close DTI wise, it's kind of that problem solving. Like, okay, like what can I make a case for? What can I do to help this file get across the finish line that fits within these guidelines? And I think that's the big thing that really kind of hits the sweet spot for me, where I can kind of dig into that and really try and help these people get that house they want, that dream house that they're looking for, that first house. I think that's really the thing, that kind of that problem solver mentality that kind of plays into what I went to school for, but now it's putting, kind of translating right over into mortgages.
Oh, that's so good. That's so good. Okay, let's do this. What are your future goals, Kevin? Bonus round. Future goals.
Future goals. Well, it's trying to find a new place that that kind of fits the work life balance that I've had since I joined the industry, and I think that's key for a lot of people, and kind of falling back in love with a new company that can appreciates their employees and kind of takes them all, treats them all as family. And I think that's key for everyone that kind of went through this, is kind of finding that new home. I think that it's out there for all of us, but I think trying to find it now, now it's trying to hit the ground and try and get it.
Absolutely. Absolutely. All right, Kevin, 30 to 60-second elevator pitch. Like, this is your moment. You've got a lot of different recruiters. You got a lot of different managers. You got people from Wells and Bank of America and Chase and Carrington and probably Guaranteed Rate and PennyMac and all those others. FinFed watching. They've got 30 seconds to decide if you're the right underwriter for them. Elevator pitch. Go.
So I would say I'm extremely hardworking. When I was at UWM, I didn't get a big opportunity at Better just because it was the time of year, so it was a little slower. But at UWM, I was top 15 producer at the company. I on a daily basis, I would do a minimum of 9 underwrites a day. So kind of once I kind of get the process down with whatever system I'm working in, it starts rolling for me, and I can kind of get through a lot just based on kind of how my process is built and how I can change it to whatever system I'm working within. I'm also someone that definitely I just do conventional right now. I have over 3 years at this point, so I can go for different product types, which I'm more than happy to jump into. If it's jumbo, VA, FHA, USDA, whatever, I'm more than happy to kind of get my feet wet in those and hit the ground in those as well. So I'm not really, just, oh, he's just a conventional guy, or, oh, he can only do a couple. I'm kind of whatever you want. If you want someone that can go out there and do as many as possible, I'm your guy. If you want someone that can hit the ground and is very ambitious and trying to get his feet into everything, I'm your guy.
That's great, Kevin. I love it. I love it. And if somebody wants to contact you, Kevin, they see this and they're like, that's my guy. I want to interview this guy today. How do they get a hold of you?
So they can get a hold of me. You can either email me. My email address is kevinreilly136@gmail.com. Reilly is spelled Reilly. You can reach out to me through my email there. I also have a LinkedIn page that's up to date. So you can just type in Kevin Reilly. You'll probably find me on there. But those are the 2 best places to kind of reach out to me.
Okay. And the last thing that we need to talk about, I see you have a hoodie on and it says something on it. Tell me about that. What is this?
As I hope no one's going to hold this against me here, but
Oh, we will. We will.
Big Michigan guy. As Christian knows through trading, I sported my Michigan fan wear, so I love Michigan. So that they finally got the Big Ten title. They finally made the college football playoffs. I couldn't not come on this and not be wearing my Michigan sweatshirt for Christian.
I love it. I love it. I love it. Well, y'all heard it first. This is the Spotlight series. That was Kevin. I'm telling you what, he is so detailed when he does his tax returns, when he does his pay stubs, when he's putting in notes. I reviewed a lot of his files when he was getting his authority to be a better and the training. He picked it up so fast. And I mean, so fast. All the different systems, we used a completely different software than most companies use out there because it was proprietary. So he fixed it, like he not fixed it, but he was able to pick it up so quickly, put all the pieces in place. He really understood the credit, the income, the assets, the collateral, being able to really dive into income with self-employment like he was talking about. He knows the 1120s, the 1065s, the K1s, the pass-through income. He can do it all. He can put it there, and he analyzes really quickly. It's very detailed and it's rational. It makes sense what he says, and he gives you the outcome of where he got his numbers from and what's going on. So I just want to highly recommend Kevin. If you want to reach out to him, please do. KevinReilly136@gmail.com. And that was KevinReilly136@gmail.com. You're going to love it. He's such a hard worker. I can't say that enough. He's such a hard worker. He's a high producer and he can get it done. And he's a pleasure to be around. As you can tell right now, he's not just so introverted that, he doesn't talk. Like he can communicate effectively. And he definitely has interests outside of underwriting as well, as we just heard with Michigan, the family, the house, and everything that's going on. So please take a moment, Zoom in, talk to him, reach out to him on LinkedIn. You're not going to regret it. This is your boy, Christian, and thank you so much for watching our Spotlight series today with Kevin.